So millennials and Zoomers, the young generation, are they lazy, shiftless, don't want to do anything, want everything given to them? I mean, we hear a lot of that, especially from people in my generation, that that's the case nowadays. So is that who they are? I won't make you wait till the end of the video to come to the conclusion. I'll give you a spoiler. No, of course not. Are there people like that within their ranks? Absolutely. Are there people like that within the ranks of my generation? Yup. And hell, there are people there are people like that in the ranks of my generation that have continued to be lazy, shiftless, and useless for decades now. Kids that I went to school with never decided to do anything. So that portion of society exists within every generation. Is it true that our younger generation has been the first to really experience the everyone gets a trophy mentality that could very well maybe take down one's initiative to be exceptional a notch? Yes, that's true. Do we blame them for it? I guess we could, but the question then lies, who gave them the trophies? Which generation did it? I'm not a believer in the whole everybody. Well, I shouldn't say that. I have no problem with the everybody gets a trophy concept. Because that's cool. Listen, everybody can't be stellar at all the things they enjoy. Let's say it is sports. You can love to play baseball and not be particularly good at it. So, hey, you want to give somebody a trophy at the end of the season for having participated and having been a part of the team? That's cool. The issue comes when that's all you give out and you still don't give out trophies for being exceptional. Everybody can get a trophy and you can still hand one out to the MVP. The person who did this the best, the person who was best at this. When you stop allowing people to lose, they pretty much removes a lot of the motivation to win. And so, yes, we've inflicted that upon our younger generation to a certain degree, and that's our fault. But now what I'm starting to see is the fact that we've done this is taking on a much bigger, much more important, and much more potentially harmful effect on our younger folks than we would have ever imagined. Because now what's happening is, see, I almost hesitate, I shouldn't say I hesitate to say this. I don't want to appear as though I'm anti-government. I clearly am not. I am anti people within our government using their positions for either ill or their own specific gains. In other words, government on both sides of the aisle, and when I make these videos, I want to try and take it from a fair perspective. Both sides of the aisle, government likes it when they're in control. It's just true. It's just the way it is. And government on a national level is very incestuous. The people in there are really tight with the next generation that's going to come up and be the legislators as we move forward. You don't get to that level unless you've got connections. So what's happened now is with the younger people, and again, I'm not throwing stones at the younger people at all. We're the ones who created this for them. What we've done is we've made it easy for them to believe that it's best if somebody else takes care of things for them. And that's not always the case. The perfect example right now is the whole thing with college tuitions. Okay, and the loan crisis, the college debt loan crisis. Is it a crisis? Yes. Did a lot of young people get screwed in this? Yeah, they did. Now, you can make the case, and it's legit, that they signed the paperwork. They knew that they were going to have to pay back a loan. Get used to it. You're going to make lots of buying decisions in your lives, homes, cars, and you better learn to make decent buying decisions. That much is true. Absolutely, that's true. But the lenders do take advantage of them with fluctuating interest rates, things of that nature. And the idea of making it so easy to get college loans was a noble one. The idea was supposed to be that everybody that wanted a college education could get one. But as usual, that noble idea got perverted by people who wanted to make big money. Because as soon as the colleges saw that everybody could get the money, that skyrocketed prices up. So would it be right to try and justify that for these young people that got victimized by it? Sure, absolutely. But now here's where it gets sticky. The easiest thing would be to say, okay, come on, let's sit down and do some numbers, and let's say that all federally funded loans to college kids, let's knock 15% off of them. I think we can get a preponderance of people, of taxpayers, to say, whatever that price tag is, it's probably worth it to be fair to them. But we don't do that. And when I say we, I mean the politicians. Because you see now, politicians say, no, this wasn't fair at all. Let's wipe out their debt. Sounds good, right? Well, not only does it create certainly a financial vacuum of some sort, because that money has to be paid back by someone, but what it's doing is it's government stepping in the guise of saying, hey, I'm going to take care of you. I feel for you. Here, let me fix it. That all sounds fine and good, but think about this. If they wipe out your student debt, what about kids that have yet to go to college? I don't see much in the way of plans of alleviating what's going on. I just see a lot of lip service about let's get a whole group of people feeling like the government saved us again. And this is where the whole mafia element of how the government does things comes into play. Because once they've done that for you, you are beholden to them. And you guys, you young people, are the next generations of taxpayers. And the government isn't going to forget that they did this for you. So when they need more money for more programs, they're going to say, well, look what we did for you. And before you know it, you don't keep much of your paycheck because the government has been able to easily infiltrate, come in and start taking over everything for you. And trust me, you don't want that. I know there's a lot of people, there's probably going to be a number of people watching this saying, no, that works better. Give your tax dollars to the government, let them redistribute it. I don't believe in that. If you do, if you're comfortable with that, that's great. Or if you happen to be someone, and I don't say this to demean anyone, it's just a fact. If you are someone who doesn't want to do anything, who doesn't want to be exceptional, who doesn't want to go out and try and make your way in the world and get ahead as best you can financially and in every other way, that's what you want. You want government involved. You want everyone else to pitch in to help you out. But for me, the more you get government involved, the more that your potential to be exceptional is hindered. I can give you a bunch of numbers to back it up. I will in future videos. The whole college thing right now, a college education costing a ridiculous amount of money, there is absolutely zero excuse for that going forward, especially with what the pandemic has taught us about remote learning. That option has been there for some time, and too many people laughed at it. Oh, you got a degree online? You got a mathematics degree online? Yes, because basically in a mathematics degree, there's nothing that you would need, personal, in-person guidance for. That's brilliant. Having the opportunity to take classes remotely is an insane money saver. And we've learned through this whole experience that it's very, very viable. Sure, there are some classes you're going to have to be in person. Absolutely. But even in those, there's a good hunk of the curriculum that you wouldn't have to be. All of this should be being worked into the system. It should all be being brought into it to bring the costs down. And then you can say, well, I would like to have the college life experience. Completely understandable. But then pay for it. Then it's going to cost you. You don't get to, we can't have it both ways. And my fear is when you let the people in government come and be your savior, come in and say, we're just going to pay for that for you. You are indebted, and you will continue to be indebted. And the government, as I said, in their very close-knit community, will make sure that generation after generation within the government will make sure and collect on those debts. And as you guys are becoming the taxpayers, your tax burden is going to be insane. College, healthcare, all the major issues of the day, there are real, usable, workable, immediate plans that could be put in place to make the system work for everybody, and particularly to work best for those who want to invest themselves into the system. And I will make videos on all of them and explain. Anybody can identify issues. We got plenty of issues in this country. All nations do. But there are solutions, and they're not complicated solutions. They don't get talked about seriously because they don't give more power to the people that have to implement those situations. It's just true. And so basically what I'm saying is it's not fair to call the younger generation lazy. It's not fair to say they don't want to go out and excel. They do. There's a lot of really brilliant, motivated people in that generation, just like there has been every other generation. Man, my generation had the hippies. They prided themselves on not wanting to do anything. Every generation has had that. But when we throw stones at the younger generation, it doesn't help anything. If living through, if nothing else, the people in my generation have some life experience, let's share it with them. And let's explain to them why it's not good to be indebted to your own government. And that whenever you can keep more of your money in your own pocket and make your own buying decisions, and the government should be doing its job of working for you and just making sure that that playing field is level for everybody, and I mean everybody, that's when the system works the best. So no, the younger generation is not lazy. We spoiled them a little with the everybody gets a trophy thing, but that's certainly not something that can't be overcome. But I want to talk to you guys a lot about these different issues. And yes, I know what immediately the reaction to this is going to be, well, you're just ripping on the left because, yeah, absolutely. The left is the one who wants to take care of all your debt. And by nature, the leftist policies are those that say, let daddy government take care of you. But they're not the only ones at fault. When it comes down to healthcare, it's the other side that's fucking you up. It's the right side. You're going to say, no, well, why is that? Because the left is the one that wants single-payer healthcare. It doesn't matter what they want. The solution that falls between single-payer healthcare and what we have right now and makes it fair and equitable for everyone is being held up by the right side. And I'll make a video explaining why that's the case. Oh, listen, guys, all I want is to share what I see is going on because, again, these things that go on like this, these big decisions that have to be made going forward as far as where we're going to be as a country financially and what we provide, they're not going to have a big impact. I mean, I'm 60 years old. No matter what it is, these things take time to get put into place. I'm into my retirement. There's not going to be much change in my ebb and flow. It's you guys. And all I care about now is that the decisions made allow my kids, my grandkids, and all of you guys to be as exceptional as possible and to have every opportunity to lead a life that is that your life can be exactly reflective of how much effort you want to put into things. It's a really big deal to me, and that's why I make these videos. We'll talk some more about all this, but that's it in a nutshell. No, you guys aren't any lazier than our hippies were, or even a lot of our non-hippies who, were throwing stones at the hippies and then got out in the real world and went, yeah, I don't want to work. Happens to every generation. But there are fixes. There are ways if enough of us get together and stop believing the hype trains that are created by the politicians and by the politicians' minions on social media, doing their dirty work for them and under the guise of being one of us. If we can get past their bullshit and really start making intelligent choices, everybody can live the exemplary life that they want to.